I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim. And the disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing.
Stephanie White was visibly upset after the Indiana Fever's narrow 2-point loss to the New York Liberty last night. In a strong post-game statement, she criticized the referees, reflecting the frustration many fans share. The Fever were unfairly treated. Recently, Indiana has faced a significant minus 31 free throw disparity, and last night's missed call on Caitlin Clark in the closing seconds might have tied the game. White expressed serious concerns about the fairness of the WNBA officiating system. In this video, we break down the key moments, controversial decisions, and evidence that has sparked fan outrage. Was this simply poor refereeing or something more? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and be sure to like and subscribe. Let's dive in.
Then she holds her, watch this, with her shoulder and on her arm when she follows through and then fouls her for the 4th time on her arm. It's cheating. It's plain as day. The haters will say she got locked up. Yeah, if you're fouling the whole game. But I'm going through this entire game. The corrupt refs gave this game to New York and they still barely won.
The Indiana Fever faced off against the defending champion New York Liberty in a tough, high-energy matchup, exchanging baskets like experienced contenders. Aliyah Boston stood out with a commanding performance, scoring 27 points and grabbing 13 rebounds. Lexi Hull, making her first start of the season, stepped up impressively with 15 important points. Indiana showcased championship-level basketball, tenacious, intelligent, and full of determination. However, from the start, something seemed amiss. The whistles rarely came when they should have. Every time the Fever drove to the basket, they endured heavy contact, clear fouls that went unnoticed. Meanwhile, the Liberty repeatedly received favorable calls. The stats tell the story. New York went to the free throw line 32 times, while Indiana managed only 15 attempts. That's more than twice as many opportunities for the Liberty in a game decided by just 2 points. Winning under such uneven officiating is nearly impossible. The referees didn't simply miss calls, they influenced the game's final result. The Indiana Fever showcased their true potential by outscoring the defending champion Liberty by 17 points in the third quarter alone, a clear display of dominance. This team proved they can compete with the league's best when given a fair opportunity. Caitlin Clark fought through intense pressure, double teams, and tough defense, still putting up an impressive 18 points and 10 assists. Yet, each time she attacked the basket and absorbed contact, the referees remained silent. Meanwhile, the Liberty seemed to receive calls consistently in their favor. It wasn't just strong defense. It was a one-sided officiating that shifted the momentum of the game.
The 3 off target, batted a lot, bodies on the floor. Clark 1-on-3 trying to split the defense, goes into traffic and reverses it off the glass. And a fearless Caitlin Clark here.
Watch how she uses her body to shield the defender. That's just beautifully done by Caitlin Clark.
In the fourth quarter, the Fever appeared to have the game under control until the officiating shifted the balance. The Liberty's comeback wasn't solely due to skill. It was driven by a series of favorable calls that turned the momentum. Jonquel Jones scored 14 points in the final quarter, aggressively attacking the rim and drawing whistles that the Fever players were repeatedly denied. The disparity was clear. New York received every advantage, while Indiana fought not only a top-tier opponent, but also uneven officiating.
No pass shot possessions for New York. Clark, step back 3. Oh, she hit it and draws the foul. Welcome back, Caitlin Clark.
All the Indiana Fever wanted was a fair chance from the officials. They played like champions, but it felt as if they were battling not just the Liberty, but the referees as well. Every possession counted, and every whistle, or the absence of one, had a huge impact. In the final seconds, everything came to a head in the most controversial way. With only 2.9 seconds remaining and the Fever trailing by 2, Caitlin Clark had the ball for a potential game-tying play. This was her moment. She caught the ball at the top of the key, focused and ready to make her move. But as she drove, Natasha Cloud made clear contact before, during, and after the shot. The replay captured it all. Arms wrapped around, a hip check, and Clark being pushed off balance. It was an unmistakable foul, the kind of call made every time in other situations. Yet, the referees held back. No call, no free throws, no chance to tie the game, just silence, and a victory taken away.
Third quarter was really, really good. Obviously, we won the quarter by 17 points. That's what put us in a position to have a chance to win. So essentially, we really played one good quarter of basketball and lost to the defending champions by 2. So I guess that's positive. A lot of ways to continue to get better.
Caitlin Clark should have been awarded 2 free throws, chances that could have tied the game and sent it into overtime. Instead, the whistle remained silent. No call, no opportunity. The Fever saw their season record drop to 2-2, all due to a missed foul that altered the course of the game. Clark was clearly fouled, but the referees looked the other way. Just like that, the game was decided.
A 3 off target. Batted a lot. Bodies on the floor. Clark 1-on-3 trying to split the defense. Goes into traffic and reverses it off the glass. And a fearless Caitlin Clark here.
Watch how she uses her body to shield the defender. That's just beautifully done by Caitlin Clark.
The missed call on Caitlin Clark wasn't the only questionable moment. The referees also overlooked a clear foul on Dana Evans, who was driving for an open layup and took heavy contact that disrupted her shot. That should have resulted in 2 free throws to put the Fever ahead. Instead, on the very next play, Lexi Hull was called for a phantom foul on Sabrina Ionescu. Hull was in perfect defensive position, no reaching or grabbing, just solid, textbook defense. Yet the whistle blew. Even more frustrating, it was Ionescu who initiated minimal contact. Somehow, that drew a foul while Evans' hard hit did not. Those free throws by Ionescu ended up being the game-winning points. Points that never should have counted. She made both shots, giving the Liberty the lead in a game they had no business leading. This kind of inconsistent, one-sided officiating leaves fans angry and players discouraged. The Fever deserved fair treatment, but once again, the calls just didn't go their way.
The refs messed up 3 calls in the last 3 possessions of this game. First, DeWanna Bonner gets absolutely destroyed. No call.
You've never seen a coach this fired up. Stephanie White had every reason to be outraged after what happened. She walked into the press conference fully aware that her team had been treated unfairly, and she wasn't going to hold back. The frustration on her face spoke volumes before she even said a word. This wasn't just a loss. It was a clear injustice.
And then Sabrina Ionescu makes the contact.
Stephanie White didn't hold back. She revealed the startling truth everyone needed to hear, a shocking -31 free throw discrepancy over recent games. That means the Fever have had 31 fewer opportunities at the line compared to their opponents. This isn't just about one missed call. It points to a troubling pattern that's been working against Indiana for weeks. Regarding the no call on Caitlin Clark in the final seconds, White was clear. "I thought she got fouled," she said. "I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us." In coach language, pretty egregious means completely unacceptable . White doesn't use words like that lightly, and it's obvious something is seriously wrong.
And this is the worst one. There's 1 foul. There's 2 fouls. Then she holds her, watch this, with her shoulder and on her arm when she follows through and then fouls her for the 4th time on her arm. It's cheating. It's plain as day. The haters will say, she got locked up. Yeah, if you're fouling the whole game. But I'm going through this entire game. The corrupt refs gave this game to New York, and they still barely.
Coach, you talked about the way that the game's been officiated for you guys. How did you see the foul that was not called, or a lack of foul, on the Bonner play, and then follow it up by Lexi Hull getting called for the foul?
I thought it was egregious, honestly. I mean, I thought it was obvious. I felt like AB got one, had one going to the rim. They're in rotation. DB's was crazy. And then Lexi's, I felt like equally, we talk about, coming into the path, and it was an offensive player veering into the defensive player's path. So, I mean, it is what it is. We have to be able to play through it. But at the same time, I feel like it's really disrespectful. Disrespect right now for our team has been pretty unbelievable. So it's disappointing, that it doesn't go both ways, or it hasn't gone both ways. But we also can't allow that to consume us, right? Like, we've got to be able to play through that. We've got to be able to control the things that we can control. I thought she got fouled. I think it's pretty egregious what's been happening to us the last few games. A minus 31 free throw discrepancy. And I might be able to understand it if we were just chucking threes, but we're not. We're attacking the rim.
Steph, given your perspective on the first 4 games, is that something you've already tried to be proactive with the league, or you'll reach out to them and let your feelings known?
Yeah, I mean, look, there's a system to making sure that we can send stuff in and communicate, our grievances, so to speak. I don't know that I ever feel like the system works. We're not looking for a change. We're just looking for consistency. I felt like the second half of Atlanta, at least at our place, was at least consistent, right? And that's the thing that we're looking for.
On the plus side, you could say you're 2 possessions away from being 4-0 in these games. Do you look at it from both sides? Like, here are the positives of this, and then here are the things we really want to work on.
Yeah, and that's probably what's frustrating about it too. Is like, we are 2 possessions, or from being 4-0, but there was so many little areas in this game that we could have improved. Like, our defense, again, to start the game was poor, and we got to find a way to come out with more energy, being able to guard. And yes, they present a very tough challenge when all 5 of them can make threes, and they're setting inverted ball screens, things like that. It's a challenge, but you got to find. It feels like every game we've really only put 2 quarters together. We're kind of waiting for that, 4 quarters of really good basketball, and I think it's gonna be a learning curve. This group is new; we haven't played a ton together, so. But that's what's gonna have to happen if we want to beat the really good teams in this league. Is you got to find a way to put together 4 really good quarters. There's gonna be runs. That's basketball. They're gonna go on their runs. We got to be able to find a way to stop them and then respond. So I think that's an area we can certainly improve.
I think for us, we just have to make sure that we're playing consistent throughout the whole game. It's pretty easy to just say that our not getting over the hump in that 4th quarter, but I think our start, in that second quarter, they outscored us by a bit. So we have to make sure that our start is better, so that when we do get to the 4th quarter, it doesn't have to be this close. But I mean, it was competitive basketball. We dug ourselves in a hole to start. We got back in it, tied the game up. Sometimes the ball just doesn't roll your way, but I think if we prioritize the way we start, it's going to be better for us in that 4th quarter.
How do you accept officiating without letting it, affect how you go about and execute the rest of the game?
Yeah, when it comes to accepting, it's like we don't really have a choice because they're going to call what they want to call. And so for us, even for me, I miss some of those easy around the rim. I think for me, I have to put them in the rim for just post talk. And we just have to finish through contact. If we don't get it, we don't get it, but we have to give ourselves the best opportunity to get that basket.